Welcome back to Patriot Princess. I'm singing tonight because today was absolutely fucking crazy, but it was all for good. And I know I keep apologizing for my sound quality when I do this, but it's because I'm recording as it feels right, as the spirit moves me, proverbially and literally. And I'm going through a little realignment today, a push, if you will, into centering, because I've been dragging my feet. Having a fear of being seen. Hold, please. I gotta get a hair tie. The craziness. A day in the life of stepping into a mission from God. And when I say God, I don't mean the narcissistic sky daddy that organized Christianity has presented as being the one in charge who judges and smites everyone. I am talking about the Son of Man, the Pleiadians, the benevolent extraterrestrial benefactors, really, of humanity. They've been upgrading humanity. We've been upgrading humanity for centuries because y'all couldn't figure it out. And I've come back here so many times and so many incarnations to try to get a message across. And this is the last one. This is the last time. And I have come back here as these powerful, accomplished individuals, if you will, and have been scared to talk about that because I'm like, who's gonna believe me that I, was these people, that I incarnated as these souls here on this earth for the purpose of ascension and enlightening and creating beauty, creating music, creating healing. And in most of those lives, I ended up dead because I was either very open about my gifts and who I was, or because I struggled with some sort of addiction or substance abuse because I couldn't get out of my own way. And in this life, I've struggled with substance abuse. I have struggled with not being able to get out of my own way, not being able to just cope with the things around me in life. And but I'm just like a regular chick. I'm not some big military leader. I'm not some, well-known prophet. I'm not this well-to-do individual. I'm just a regular person who came here with a purpose. And I haven't been stepping into that purpose for fear of being seen, for fear of being killed, for fear of, hang on, sorry, pardon the noise, for fear of being punished or tortured for being who I am, because that's happened in the past. Literally, the stuff that you're afraid of in this life, it's because it's happened to you in the past. There's this noise that my dog makes where he snaps his teeth and snaps his jaw, and he is doing it as this totally natural thing. But when I hear it, it literally like makes my skin crawl, and I get so annoyed and testy and like snap at him because I was attacked by dogs in another life. Like, I was literally put in a place and dogs were used to torture me and attack me. So when I hear that noise, it literally makes me afraid of death. It's not just like a made up thing. And that's so much of what we're missing in society right now, especially with our healing modalities, is that we don't take into account that generational trauma passed down through our tissue, that we're carrying around stuff that we don't even know is like not ours. It's been passed down by our ancestors. And past life trauma of, hey, like, you're afraid of this because it happened to you in the past, and you're being presented with another test of another opportunity to work past it. And again, remember, I apologize for the noise over and over, but remember how I said today was absolutely fucking crazy? Because I'm getting violently realigned because, as I said, I haven't been speaking about my true gift as a medium and as a shaman, and how I see through the veil and can see hypocrisy in action, see the double-sidedness of everything, and how we're doing it wrong. I'm a missionary for Yeshua's message. I was here when he was here. And people are like, how do you know this? Like, I just know. It's just a knowing that I have because it's part of my purpose. It's part of my gift. It's part of my existence. And you know what? Everybody else has their own special gifts as well. We all have the telepathic ability to tap into the oneness with each other. We all have psychic abilities. Like, have you ever had that friend where they just know what you're, like, they finish your sentences, or you're like, oh, I was just thinking that? Well, it's because you're on the same wavelength. You're so tapped into each other that you can literally read each other's minds. And my best friend and I have been like that pretty much our whole lives until more recently, when I stopped focusing so much on the material and stepping into this calling in life. But I keep playing it small. I keep like talking to these people around me and not taking it on a bigger scale like I've been asked to do. And it turns into this situation where I'm just like so afraid to talk about anything because people look at you like you're crazy, or because my ex used all of it against me to call me an unfit mother and take my kids in our divorce, which again, Spirit has shown me I was asked to travel lately and hit the road months ago, and I have been resisting and not surrendering because I've been afraid to leave my kids with these narcissists. And Spirit already told me, we've violently realigned you into your soul path by putting you in situations where your ex got custody of your kids, where you literally couldn't get yourself together, couldn't get the paperwork together to fight for yourself because you're supposed to be on the road. There's a lot that I could have done to make this situation happen faster and do better, and I couldn't get out of my own way. Moral of the story, you got to get out of your own way. You are the mountain. I am the final boss, right? That I have to get past. And so I was inspired to record this right now, even though it is haphazard in this storage unit environment, because I just got off the phone with somebody. I think his phone died. I tried to call him back a couple times. Hope he's all right. That I met him with this group called Dance Beyond, which is an ecstatic dance group based out of New York. And I love all the stuff that they've been doing. I've gone to a couple of their events because I am getting back into dancing as part of my calling. And as soon as we got on the phone, we started talking about, I was moving these pots and pans around. And he goes, it sounds like the next Jay-Z album. It sounds like noise music. And I was like, well, that's prolific, because I keep getting all these signs about Jay-Z and, the Christian Native American hip hop that I've been asked to create and sing. And it's been so hard finding my voice to let it come out. I did record my first song, by the way. It is called The Rising Project, and it's on SoundCloud under my username Patriot Princess. And there's noise music. Said something. I can't remember what I said to him, but he goes, well, Jay-Z and Beyonce worship Baal and Moloch and are, devil worshippers and have sold their souls, and Blue Ivy's an alien and all this stuff. And I was like, yes, you are correct. That is accurate. And I haven't said that out loud really to anybody in such a long time, because again, knowing that, believing that, talking about that is what my ex has basically said, you're insane. And all her friends are like, she's lost it. She's lost her way. She has no idea what she's talking about. She thinks that Hollywood's full of pedophiles and they're performing child sacrifice and they're doing all this stuff. And it's like, yeah. Yes, they are. It's happening. That's what's happening. So yeah. And he just so easily came out with it and was just like, oh yeah, this is happening. And I was like, I know. I've been afraid to say it because it's been used against me so many times to call me crazy and unfit. And, he's somebody who, like me, is autistic, highly functioning. So, doing his thing in the world. Sorry, I'm chewing. I have also gone completely off the rails the last few days, emotional eating. Like, my body knows what's going on right now and that we're about to do something really exciting and really scary all at the same time, because we're going on a mission. We're going on a mission as asked by God, as promised by myself and my higher self before I incarnated on this planet. I agreed to do this. I agreed to incarnate inside of organized religion, inside of toxic patriarchy, inside of the boys club, inside of the mean girls club, so that I could have these experiences to share with people, to teach people how we're doing it wrong and how we do better for our kids. Because ultimately, this is Project Save the Children. Our kids are at the end line of getting all of the dysfunction that we've been living through and that we've been perpetuating, and that has been put in place on purpose. Like, this is the part that I keep saying, that yes, the fallen angels are extraterrestrials that came to this planet, low vibrational, because they didn't know how to make their own light. They came to Earth to steal ours. to turn us into a slave race, to feed off of our positive light and positive energy, especially our children. Can we thank Monsters, Inc.? How they literally have jobs. They took our jobs. They have jobs for torturing and scaring children for the purpose of harvesting their screams to power their city. And they are harvesting children, our children. They are harvesting the light of humanity, of individuals, on purpose to keep themselves alive, because they don't know how to make their own light. And when I say they, yeah, I'm talking Pedowood, Hollywood full of pedophiles, and, you know, pretty much anybody that has any kind of significant career in Hollywood has agreed, has sold their soul already for the price of fame. I mean, it's ultimately what it is. And parents selling their children into Hollywood for money so that the parents can get rich. And everybody wants to say we're crazy for those of us that have woken up to what's going on and are trying to call it out and doing things to try to make it stop. We're the ones that are called unhinged. And with that said, most people don't know what's going on. Most people are still asleep to it, but those of us that are awake to it are like really fucking awake to it. And my experience is what made it so real for me. And I mean, like, my experience growing up. My experience growing up in a house of horrors. It's really ultimately what I would like to call it, because is what I grew up in. I grew up in a home that was not safe. I grew up in a home filled with alcoholism and anger and rage, because like we didn't know any better, because that's how my mom was raised, and she repeated the cycle. And we're turning our children into tiny little Manchurian candidates who do as they're told with blind obedience and don't ask any questions. And I'm sorry, but I don't want children that don't ask questions. I want my kids to be curious. I want my children to say, that doesn't make sense, Mom. Why are we doing this? I did that as a child. And I was admonished. I was told to be quiet. I did it as an adult. Even in places of business, places I worked, where I'm like, this process doesn't make sense, and I really think that we should change it. But I was in organizations filled with, old dogs that don't want to learn new tricks. Is that familiar to anybody? When old dogs don't want to learn new tricks? And that is a lot of the systems that we're in right now, where the stuff that we're doing isn't healthy. It's not good for us. But we do it anyway because it's what we learned, and doing something different is hard. And I'm learning that again. This is not me saying I'm perfect. This is me saying I am also still learning that lesson. And when I said today was fucking crazy, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, there's that coconut oil. There's that coconut oil. I am still learning this process myself because it's not easy. And doing something different is hard. And every time I've tried to do something different, oh, my baby's jean jacket just came out of this bin. Out of this bin, I pulled gluten-free breadcrumbs, tapioca flour for gluten-free baking and vegan baking, a whole thing of organic quinoa for healthy greens, a whole container of virgin coconut oil, and her little jean jacket. Because the universe sends me signs everywhere that, like, this is where you're going. This is what you're here to teach everybody, how to heal their bodies with food instead of being addicted to it, instead of filling yourself with stuff that isn't good for you, which I've been off the rails eating all this stuff the last few days because I've been emotional eating. But this is the key that you have that we need you to contribute to this world. It's your joy and your laughter and your food. I've always just wanted to feed people. Just let me feed you. When I lived in South Carolina after college, there was, I can't even remember what restaurant it was that we would go to. It was this little podunk restaurant, just local Southern people. And there was this waitress who, my ex and his brother used to love to do characters too. And they used to make fun of this waitress. Her name was Terry. And poor thing had a rough life. Homegirl had a rough life with narcissists. 100% was abused, was an abuse victim, and struggled with substance abuse as well. It was evident. And they used to pick on her and make fun of her with her accent and her teeth because she was obviously struggled with, I'm gonna say, crystal meth. Crystal meth was a massive epidemic in South Carolina when I lived there. Actually, there's a hip-hop group under my ex's old label that did a song called Ice Feller that was about the crystal meth epidemic. And very poignant, actually. Might sing it for you. Ass feller. Call me the ass feller because I like the ass feller. I don't need your what. I've been up for 6 nights, feller. I digress. But they used to pick on her because they were like, I just want to feed you. Just let me feed you. Just let me feed everybody. I just want to feed everybody. Oh, Terry. But that's literally part of my calling. I've just always wanted to cook for people and make my own recipes and feed everybody. And I am here to do that. And to teach people how to do it for themselves is actually a big portion of why I'm here. Because if you teach a man to fish, he will eat for life. You give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach a man to fish, he will eat for life, right? So when we teach each other how to take care of ourselves, we learn more. And today was crazy because I was put into a situation where I thought someone was going to help me. They were making it easy on me. I've been comfortable in this campground situation because they've just been letting me slide. They knew that I had a lot going on. I was working for them and said, you know what, never mind. This is not the right fit for me. and I was made to feel uncomfortable and told to be small and not be myself and just put a smile on and keep everybody happy. And I said, no, I've been asked my entire life to do that. And that's why I have been a victim of so much psychological abuse and not knowing who I am and not being able to function on my own because someone else has been doing it for me all this time. And I got comfortable in this situation. And they came to me yesterday, and they were like, hey, we need to move you to another spot because we need to use this one for a reservation. And I was like, okay, no problem. I am totally fine doing that. And then one of the other gentlemen came up today and was like, you have to be out today. I was like, what? And he was like, there's a reservation coming in and you have to move. And I was like, okay, well, you know, I was told yesterday that you actually, specifically this person, would tow me to a different spot tomorrow. And he was like, nope, I can't do that. I'm not doing it. I'm not helping you. And you have to be out today. I was like, what? What? And I kind of started panicking. So I went and talked to the guy, you know, the manager, and was like, this is what you said yesterday, and this is what I'm being told now. And he's like, okay, well, don't panic. We're going to figure it out. So again, one person was being a little more aggressive than the other with their instruction, and the middle ground was what I really needed. But it put me in a position where I immediately started making moves, and I immediately started making decisions to get out of where I was. And I have several options before me now, and that's the hard part where I'm like, oh shit, well, what do I do now? Because now I have multiple options and I almost don't know what to choose, because again, I keep putting myself in this situation where, like, am I making the wrong decision? Am I choosing the wrong thing? Am I doing what I'm being called to do, what I'm being asked to do? Because I wasn't before. I wasn't surrendering to what I was being asked to do, which was basically give up everything and travel super lightly. And like me and the dog and, you know, my car. And that things would come together. It was only temporary, you know, that was a quick move that I'm supposed to be making to get set up elsewhere. And I have been fighting it. And now it's turned into like this whole big thing. And I still am like, I don't know what to do, kind of, but at the same time, it's like really exciting that I'm finally making moves and figuring it out. So today is Thursday, and this camper is getting moved tomorrow. I actually am unloading my car right now with a bunch of stuff into the storage unit that is already full, and I'm trying to empty out some boxes so I can go back and pack up the rest of what is in the camper, because I am it's gonna have to be completely packed up and ready to go tomorrow morning. I have a feeling I'm not gonna sleep much tonight. I am gonna need to sleep for a little while. But today, after I got this news, I pulled the trigger. I booked this camping trip for myself for Sunday. Initially, it was for Friday, tomorrow. And I was like, I'm so not ready. I still have so much stuff to pack up here. So I called to push it back to Sunday, which is, again, why Spirit did what happened to me today to push me to move. Because they're like, you keep pushing it back. And thinking you're not ready. And you're ready. You're ready to launch. You're ready to get out on the road. You're ready to launch your business. You're ready to talk about your knowledge. You're ready to step into your mediumship. This is what you're here for. And you're not doing it. And right now I'm pulling out a plug for this piano that I got and have been putting off playing because I don't feel ready. And Spirit is saying, you're ready. You're ready for this. Now just do it. You're ready for this. Just do it. And so I booked this camping trip Sunday as my like, oh, I'm testing this out. We're going to learn to get on the road. Ooh, look, and this piano thing is tied around all these copper pots. We got to get that water balanced out, huh? I need more copper around me to remember. I need more balance around me to remember. Remember what keeps coming up for me. Remember who you are. Remember what you're here for. Remember what you've done in the past. Remember how talented you are, how smart you are, and how creative you are. Thank you, Spirit, for reminding me right now. Like I've said before, when you're not following your soul path, you get violently realigned. You get stuff thrown at you that's going to force you into alignment. And so today, after I found out this situation, I went to the RV place right down the street, who has been so incredibly helpful for me. Literally, there's one guy there named Charles who gives the best hugs, and sometimes I just go in there and I'm like, Charles, can I have a hug? And they've been really awesome. And I looked at my options. They're doing a huge sale because of Labor Day. And so something that would have really been out of my price range with the situation that I'm in right now is actually doable. It puts me in a much less comfortable position cash-wise, but that forces me to step out and again launch my business, because Spirit has already shown me once you get yourself out there, it's going to be okay. You just have to trust yourself and you got to get yourself out there. But as long as you stay in hiding, you're just going to keep sitting here going into this mode of not getting stuff done and not being able to accomplish. It's this failure to launch situation that I find myself in. And so, I was really getting asked to travel lightly from the beginning, being told, travel lightly, travel lightly, travel lightly. And what have I refused to do? I have refused to travel lightly. And I have this storage unit full of stuff because they kept telling me, when it's time, you need to be ready to just walk away from that house and everything in it and just go. And what have I not been able to do? You guessed it. Walk away from the house and everything in it. And I had a friend be like, get a box, walk around the house and put in it the things that you can't live without and go. And I did that to start with. And then I went back and got more. And then I went back and got more. And I kept going back and getting more. You hear that train dinging in the background? Universal confirmation. And so now I have the storage unit full of stuff and I'm ready to do like a yard sale, everything for $1. And I kept all this like baking stuff, kitchen stuff, because I had this vision of this whole like food truck feeding people situation. But part of it is also like we don't need all the bells and whistles. Like we can survive and learn how to take care of ourselves with the minimal stuff like we used to before all of the modern conveniences showed up. Because guess what the modern conveniences do? They blind us from the stuff that really matters, from the stuff that's really important, which is love, which is family, which is supporting each other, which is being here for one another in our time of need. And it's like another situation where my friend was over the other day helping me pack all this stuff up to like go stay with this guy that I met who was an artist who was going to offer me, you know, a safe place to be. And, you know, her stance was kind of like, if this is what you want to do, I guess I just have to let you do it. I just have to let you figure it out. When in hindsight, she probably should have been like, is this really a safe idea for you or a good idea for you? Because after I said I was going to go stay with this guy and he offered me this place and it felt like so, you know, such a creative opportunity. And I felt so blessed to have somebody that was interested in helping me like rest and relax. And then when I was like, hey, I've got a mattress in storage that I'm going to try to get. Is there something in the spare bedroom right now that I can sleep on until I get this mattress? Can I sleep on the couch until I get this situation figured out? And then it turned into, oh, you could sleep with me. Nope. And then I was like, oh, because you're not supposed to be finding a roommate to, you know, give you somewhere to stay for 4 to 6 weeks. We've already told you your rooting is happening in the forest and you need to go. You're on a mission. You're here to go balance yourself and literally be a missionary. You're here to be a missionary and teach people how we're doing it wrong. Teach people how we get it right, how we fix it. And I have been not surrendering to that because I have been scared of being seen and who's going to believe me and who's going to listen to me, because every time I've tried to talk about it, I get shunned, if you will, told I'm crazy, get my kids taken away. And it's like, oh, well, you're in the wrong circles. You've been in the wrong circles most of this time. And we got to get you in the right circles. And your right circles, your tribe, is out west. And hey, we're asking you. Well, I'm going to stop talking for a second while I make all this noise. We're asking you to step into your role as a shaman. We're asking you to tap into your past Native American lives, to bring to light the ancient ways and the way that we are supposed to be living and surviving, and not surviving, but existing and living. And you need to go and learn more about your heritage so that you can step into that role. And you got to center yourself more. You've been so scattered that you're not going to be able to tap in and help others in the same capacity until you start taking better care of yourself. And you have to get out of the environment you're in order to take better care of yourself. And I have not been getting out of the environment that I'm in. So, by sending this messenger today to say, you have to leave, you have to go, and you need to go now, it absolutely 100% lit a fire under me. So I went to this RV place. I looked at a camper that I initially wasn't planning on getting because I wasn't planning on towing anything. I was going to travel lightly. But I think Spirit is really helping me get comfortable working through my fear of poverty, my fear of scarcity, and my fear of abundance, and not being able to make room for more to come in because I can't get out of my own way. And that is something I've been having to figure out how to work through. And so I'm going to back up. The situations that I found out were the camper that I really wasn't planning on towing because I said I don't want to tow anything. I want to go light. But it is absolutely like the lightest possible situation I could have for a tow behind. And it doesn't give me a lot of space to bring, like, the biggest things that I was focused on bringing are artwork that I have done already that I want to take to, like, festivals and stuff to sell. And literally, like, baking stuff, art supplies, artwork that's already done, and baking supplies are the biggest things that I planned on trying to take with me. So this camper has bed that converts into a dinette, a bench, a tiny little kitchen, a little bathroom, itty bitty little closet. Little bit of storage in the cabinets, but nothing, nothing excessive. So again, I'm being put in a situation where I don't have the space to bring a lot of stuff, which is, on purpose, because I'm not supposed to need a lot of stuff. But it also doesn't really have a lot of space for, like, the artwork and stuff I want to take, unless I choose to not use the camper for sleeping or whatever, and if it's raining, or I'm putting that in my car. So I've got my SUV and then potentially this tow behind camper. It's going to cost me more than I was planning on spending, and I won't be able to bring as much stuff as I want for this mission trip. And again, I'm being asked to give up a lot, everything. So the whole point is not bringing a bunch of stuff. And the other option that I came across after I left there, I went to look at a box trailer, because the other option that I've really thought about since the beginning of all this has been, the car and a small tow behind box trailer. And I will tell you, part of the camper, the thing that made the camper appealing is that I'm bringing my dog. And I'm like, okay, if I'm running an errand or something, or I need to go somewhere and I can't take him with me, what, I just leave him in the car all the time? Like, what? That doesn't sound like a great idea for the dog. And am I going to be in a position where I'm literally taking him absolutely everywhere with me? So the camper situation makes me feel more comfortable to have somewhere for him to also be safe. So then I went to look at these little box trailers, and they're a whole lot less expensive. So it'll save me more money, and I have more space to bring the things that I was anticipating having to bring on this trip to begin with. But I'll be sleeping completely in a tent or in my car during fall weather in the Northeast. So I don't know what that looks like. Or feels like, or warm enough, like, I don't know. But the two situations leave me with, okay, you can have more stuff and more of a financial cushion, which is an option for you. Or you can have less stuff, less of a financial cushion, and a space that makes you feel more safe, secure in, like, a home aspect. So those are kind of the choices that were put in front of me. And then as soon as I left the RV place to go to look at the box trailers, which I literally was having a meltdown in the RV place, like, not being able to figure out what to do for myself, because after, said this before, after a lifetime of narcissistic abuse, I literally just pulled a sign out of this bag that says "Free Dobby," and has little baby socks attached to it. It has 2 little baby socks, because we're freeing my babies. We're freeing the house elves. That is also the other thing. We're saving the children, but we're freeing the house elves, okay? Free my house elves, free my fairies, free the women that have been, free the divine masculine, free our families, but it's mostly for our children. And after a lifetime of narcissistic abuse, sorry, I'm pausing talking while I go through this crinkly bag. After a lifetime of narcissistic abuse, I haven't known how to make my own decisions. I haven't been able to figure out how to think for myself because I've been listening to whatever it is somebody else told me to do my entire life. And I've known, or I've, tiny little spoon, felt, travel light since the beginning. And I'm in this RV place where the guy there is like, I don't feel comfortable sending you off into the wilderness with your car and a box trailer. Like, it doesn't sound safe to me. But me being confident in my spirit guides and being confident in knowing what I'm here for is part of that. Well, this is what I'm being asked to do. But again, then it's a situation where, okay, I'm just submitting to what somebody else is asking me to do, but then you're talking about submitting to the greater good, submitting to your soul contract, submitting to the path that you agreed to take before you got here. So am I submitting to somebody else, or am I submitting to myself? Surrendering to myself, because this is already the path that I chose for myself, the path that I agreed to take before I even got here. And I'm just remembering that. And I'm sitting in the RV place, like, just feeling 100% like I'm failing another test. I'm being tested again. I'm failing because I've been asked to travel light, and here I am at this camper place looking at what it would take and what kind of financial situation I would be in from getting this camper. But also knowing that when you're putting money into circulation and using it for good, so if I'm buying this camper to literally go on a mission and I do what I've said I would do in my mission and I'm spreading good, then guess what? It's going to come back to me tenfold. If I don't and I just stay in hiding, then yeah, I'm going to end up in that poverty situation again if I'm not putting myself out there. But if it's meant for you, if it's in your contract, the universe is going to find ways to violently realign you into that contract. As I'm picking up this sign that says, she thought she could, so she did. And this sign was hanging on the cabinet in the house in front of my supplements to balance your body out, in front of the cannabis cabinet. Because cooking with cannabis, healing with cannabis, and healing with plant medicine is part of my mission. And I've stopped being active in that mission because I allowed other people to make me scared of it. I allowed other people to use it against me, to call me an unfit mother. It's actually the crux of my spirituality, and plant medicine are the two things that my ex has predominantly been able to use against me to call me an unfit mother and get custody of my kids. And I haven't really stood up for myself and haven't really said, I don't care what you think or what you say. This is who I am. This is what I'm here for. And you're not going to scare me. I've let him scare me. But also, he's like my original witch wound. He is my original witch wound from Salem. And I was killed. or, disgracing the family for being a witch. When actually, witches that you want to call us, whatever you want to call us, oracles, mystics, seers, call me a witch if that's what you want, but thirsty. I'm a light worker. I am a missionary for Yeshua's message that we are part of the one, that we are all part of a bigger universe, that we are all here to experience Earth and its duality and learn from it, that we have soul contracts, things that we agreed to before we came here, that I'm actually part of the group of people to bring light to how we've lost our way as a people and how we've been manipulated intentionally into following this way of life by, number one, keeping us in a fear-based existence loop, and number two, poisoning us, our minds, our bodies, our spirits. Like, literally, when I was talking to Jordan and he said, Beyonce, Jay-Z, they worship Moloch, they make sacrifices, they worship Baal and the devil. And I'm like, yeah, I know this. I just haven't spoken up more because everyone called me crazy and took my kids. What's the whole point of being convicted in your mission? Standing up for it no matter what. And I wasn't doing that. So what does the universe do when you're not standing in your mission? Violently realigns you until you are. So I've had multiple violent realignments. Multiple. And here we go. This is like the final violent realignment. Because now we're getting on the road. So, like I said, I heard from somebody reached out to me as soon as I left the RV place today. Got the devastating news that I was going to have to be out, that I had to make moves immediately, that I was not going to be in this comfortable situation, allowed to just lollygag like I thought I was. And I took action. I went to the RV place. As I was going to the place to look at the box trailer, somebody called me because I was like, all right, I'm going to have to get on Facebook Marketplace and like really put this thing out there again. This gentleman calls me or messages me and says, hi, I'm local. I'm interested. I'm local. I have the equipment to tow it. And is it still available? Thank you, Spirit, was my response. Actually, I think I chuckled first. Thank you, Spirit, for showing me that when I take action and take steps, things start falling into place as they're meant to. And that the life I'm meant to step into is there. I just have to step into it, right? It's right in front of me. And as you do it, things will fall into place. You just have to do it. And I wasn't doing it. So, my hand was forced. I felt really bad putting this guy on such a timeline because I'm like, hey, It is, but guess what? We have to make moves very quickly if you want it, because I don't have time to lollygag. I have a heart out, and the campground, like, this thing is going to get moved tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. one way or the other. It's either going into, they're either going to move it into an overflow lot on the campground, or I'm having it towed up to the RV place where I can trade it in for the smaller camper. And that's where I kind of started losing it a little bit, because I'm like, am I failing my test here that I'm being asked to travel lightly, and now I'm looking at this camper and it's too much, and it's going to be like cumbersome and traveling. So I kind of felt like am I doing something wrong here by looking at this camper? And then I got this phone call, or got this message right after asking if it was available. So this guy was actually pretty awesome in the, like, timing of like, oh, I am sorry you're dealing with all of this, but hey, we can try to, let's see what we can work out. Let's see what we can set up. And so he ended up coming to look at it tonight. I haven't heard back from him yet, I don't think, but I haven't looked in a little bit. And it turns out his girlfriend is in the Navy. He's a beekeeper. And has a CDL and is driving all these trucks, and he moves bees. And he's looking for something. They have like storage units everywhere. They're staying in Airbnbs together when he goes to visit her, because she's in Florida. And they wanted to have like a little spot that is their own that they could travel with and somewhere to put it. And he's got all the equipment to tow it. And the fact that he has a CDL, that she's in the Navy, and he's a beekeeper is so synchronistic for me. So synchronistic for me in the journey I'm going through, and all the things that I know about my own twin flame situation. Whoa. Ooh. Also, as I said that, my hammock that I'm pulling out just pulled the lid off of my box of legal documents from my divorce, which is part of my journey and mission to talk about how wrongly we're doing everything, how badly I have been painted out as an unfit mother, unfairly, and lied about, just flat out lied about by my ex and this attorney, who the attorney doesn't even understand anything about cannabis. And my ex has just absolutely allowed this smear campaign against me without any instance of like, guys, like, this isn't 100% accurate, or like, I don't know if we should go this far. He's just let them do whatever to me and not said a fucking word, when he's also been an alcoholic through our entire relationship. I begged for change our whole relationship and never got it. And the emotional abandonment and lack of actual relationship pots and pans dinging that I got in our marriage, there's just no accountability for his part in anything that happened. And just the way that he has let them paint me is, I need to put it in art. I need to put it into some art. It's been a lesson for me, 100%, in trusting people and people showing you who they really are. But just the lack of knowledge about cannabis use and medicinal cannabis and the benefits it has and the way that it's being used, the way it should be used. Yeah, as part of my calling and teaching people about it. And I haven't been stepping into that properly. And it is part of the alignment I'm being asked to get back into. But yeah, the way that the legal system has actually been able to use a legal plant medicine, it's legal in the state that I'm in, that I live in. I had a prescription for it. I mean, regardless of the stipulations, because it should be legal everywhere. We shouldn't be putting restrictions on plant medicine. Plants were put on this earth for a reason, to provide us with medicine, which, yes, they can be abused. Anything can be abused. Anything can be pushed into addiction. I have a food addiction. Like I said, I've been going off the rails for the last few days because I'm emotional eating. And my body is paying for it right now. I am bloated. Have a distended belly. Yeah. It's going to bug me later because I've been eating cookies and gluten and dairy and the stuff that I know I'm not supposed to be eating, and have been eating anyway because I've been in an emotional state, and we make choices when we're in an emotional state that we wouldn't necessarily make otherwise. So now I have options. I have the camper that I could get. I have the box trailer. And let's see, we get the camper. The camper I get if this guy doesn't want my massive camper that I can't drive anywhere because I need to get it traded in. I need to be rid of it. I need to get that heavy weight off of me. And I don't want it to just sit in a storage unit or sit somewhere as a, like, either I'm going to cut my losses and eat it completely and it's just going to go to waste, which I don't want. I don't want it just hanging out there. This is a loose end I need tied up as I go on the road. Ooh, you know what? Here's one other thing I let myself have tonight, Chinese food, which I haven't done in forever. I haven't been eating gluten. I'm opening a fortune cookie and see what it says. Lucky numbers for the lucky one. 11, 50, 47, 5, 8, and 40. It says your finances will bring you peace of mind. Well, should we open the other one? I'm sitting here looking at my children as I open these because everything I'm doing is for the children. A funny movie will make your evening delightful. I actually wanted to watch a funny movie because I haven't watched a comedy in forever. So, we got the camper. If Greg wants to buy the RV, we can still get the camper and just have an extra cushion because he's going to pay more for the RV than the dealership will. We still have the box trailer option if Greg wants the RV, because then we have gotten rid of the RV. We get the cheaper mode of storage, and we have more money. Actually, the RV, what Greg pays for the RV, will cover the cost, and then some of the purchase of a box trailer. And then Greg's like, hey, I have a box trailer. It's got solar panels on it. He's like, I'd want to put new fenders on it. It's not perfect, which I told him I'm wheels up Sunday. Whatever's happening, I'm wheels up Sunday. He used to tote bees in it. It's got solar panels and electric. And he was like, it's perfect for this like little tiny home setup. And so it's like, well, that kind of gives me the option of having more storage space, having something that does give me a little bit of a tiny home, like living situation. Still gives me more of a financial cushion. But we talked about working a trade in as well. So like he'd give me, it would go towards the cost of the camper that he's purchasing from me. So now I have multiple options. And it's like even more overwhelming because I'm like, well, now I don't know what to do. Before I didn't have any options. And now I'm back in a position where I have more options than I know what to do with. Oh, it's going to be loud. We're shutting the storage unit. And so now it's like, okay, what do we do? Regardless of what we do, I'm going back to the storage unit right now to finish cleaning up the last of the things that are in it, to finish purging for myself. I let myself have my last supper of Chinese food before we fast tomorrow. We'll be fasting for the next several days to cleanse all the shit that I put in myself the last few days. I'm not being good enough, being scared to launch, emotional eating. And we'll figure out what to do. Oh, it's 11:11 right now. Okay. Yep. So we have options. I got a car, an empty car full of empty boxes and bags, ready to go finish cleaning out this camper. And then we have Friday and Saturday. We have tomorrow morning to decide what we're going to do. And then we have Friday and Saturday to work on packing whatever it is we're going to take with us, getting the storage unit organized to the point of giving away a bunch of stuff and doing like a yard sale, everything for $1, cleaning out as much as possible before we hit the road Sunday. I'm going to have to stay in this area for the next several weeks. Not have to, but I'm going to stay in this northeast area for the next several weeks before our court date. And then I start heading south and west. Finish cleaning out the storage unit when I come back for court, if I don't before then, but I'm not paying for another month. I just paid for September and I'm not paying for October. So regardless of what happens with all of this, that shit's going to be cleaned out by October. Because we're on the open road then. Yeah. And guess what we're going to do? We are going to travel around and we're going to show people a simpler way of life, that we don't need all the bells and whistles to survive. And I'm going to go around and preach Yeshua's message and tell people how we've been doing it wrong and show them how to make it better for our children and show them how to take care of their bodies and how to teach their children to take care of their bodies and their emotions, because it's all linked together. We say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, and it is. The way to everyone's heart is through their stomach, because your head, heart, and pelvis have to be aligned in order for everything to be thinking clearly. Think of your chakras, and your energy flows up. So when your womb isn't healed, when you're holding on to womb trauma, it goes up into your gut. When your gut isn't healed and you're holding on to gut trauma, you got parasites in there, you're eating unhealthy stuff, you're not taking care of yourself, that goes up and blocks your heart. And that goes up and blocks your throat. And that goes up and blocks your third eye. And that goes up and blocks your crown chakra. So nothing is working properly above the gut or above the womb if you're still holding on to trauma. That's the crux of it. We fix the gut, we fix the womb, and then we get better. And my 4-year-old keeps telling me, Mommy has the lid for all the animals. Well, we've been in our animal brain because of meat, because we're eating meat, because we're consuming flesh, because we're full of parasites, and because we've been brainwashed into following this society and organized religion that puts us in sexual discord. It's like Handmaid's Tale, right? Where we end up having a society of people we can't reproduce anymore. Well, that's because we keep handing down all these genetic conditions and womb trauma to each generation without them healing it. Birth defects, and I don't want to call them defects because every child is perfect the way they are, but medical conditions that keep manifesting that are genetic, where everybody says, oh, it's hereditary, it runs in my family. It runs in your family because somebody earlier in the line did something with a negative energetic blueprint that stayed in their tissue, and then they reproduced without healing it. So the next generation gets it, and the next generation reproduces without healing it. So whatever that medical condition is compounds, and it continues compounding until somebody fixes it. Mine was the wound of unconditional love, and literally just like giving of yourself completely and trusting everybody and letting them control you, and the sugar addiction, like the fluctuation in the food addiction. The substance abuse runs heavily in my family too. But that is what's happening with our major medical conditions. It just compounds one generation after the next until somebody fixes it. And I am the one in my family line that is fixing it. But guess what? Nobody likes to hear it. And that's what I'm here to teach people, is that, hey, when we heal this, whatever these hereditary conditions are that you say you keep passing down, guess what? They go away. Because you don't pass them down anymore. And I want to teach my children what it means to be healthy. And I want to teach them to say no. And I want to teach them boundaries. And I want to teach them to stand up for themselves. Because that is what we're here for. And to love everybody, no matter what. And be an example of that. Be an example of Jesus. How can you be an example of Christ consciousness for somebody else in your day? Who did you make smile today? Like, that's who I am. And Princess Poppy. I just want to give hugs and play music and sing and dance all the time. And I've been in this existence where I haven't allowed myself to do that. I forgot what it was like to have fun. And that's not how we're supposed to be living. So, wheels up on Sunday for our mission trip. We're going to see what the fuck happens. We're just going. We're flowing. And with that note, I am going to turn this car on drive back to the camper and finish packing everything up and get ready to get out and hit the road. Because that's what I'm here for. And it's time to do it. Do it, do it, do it. Okay. Thank you for being here for another episode of Patriot Princess. I apologize for all of the background noise. I'm going to do my best to try to edit that out. But I promise that once I am on the road in a better situation, that my recordings will have better quality, because I won't be trying to clean out campers and storage units. That was a big yawn. All right. Stay tuned for the next episode. Smoke weed every day. That's just what I think of when I hear the next episode. This is going to get posted on Friday, tomorrow, per my schedule. But I think we're going to do a bonus this weekend. And I'll fill you in on what happens and me hitting the road. And also I'm starting this whole YouTube live broadcast and YouTube channel to share my journey. So I will post, links and stuff for that, so you can follow my journey if you want. I love you. Fight for what's important. Take care of yourself and love each other. Peace, love, and light, and a little go fuck yourself if necessary. Okay. All right. Love you. Everybody take care. Thanks for being here. Bye.